Hey Enterprise family, it's Mrs. Howard here. I'm going to go ahead and spend a couple moments showing you a few tips and tricks to help you set up your classroom for FSA testing. This year we're really fortunate to have so many computer carts in our classrooms, and that means that we are going to be able to test in the comfort of our own classrooms, but it can get a little confusing at times, and I just wanted to go ahead and give you an opportunity to get your brain ready for what to expect. I do want to say thank you to Mrs. Terapak and our 5th grade tech support team members for helping to create some of these slides and walk us through a little bit of the tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so these are a couple pictures of my classroom. I went ahead and set up early because I wanted to make this video for you guys. You'll notice that all the stations are set up. You may notice that I have empty desks. That's because I have a lot of students who take testing accommodations. But no matter what your classroom looks like, you can still have a good setup, whether you're in rows or clusters or something like that. This is a typical way to set up those desks. Let's see. The most important things to note is that each testing station should have an office wall for privacy, a cover sheet to cover up the screen if at any moment a student needs to take a break, headphones so students can hear the listening passages or any audio passages, the computer mouse so they can navigate through the test easily. If you're missing these items, go ahead and give Mrs. Gentili a call and let her know so that she can find you some. Students do need to have these items for testing. In the next few slides, I'll go over how to get the laptops ready. This is a little bit of the most time-consuming part. So if you have a chance to practice before testing day, I highly recommend that you have students do that. One other thing I'd like to note is that I went ahead and set up my classroom, and usually every year I set it up this way the first time so students can see what to expect. But normally I would have it happen, where students just go in an assembly line and set up their own stations. So yeah, whatever you guys decide works for you, as long as your kids have what they need to feel successful for the test, then that works. Alright, so inside your cart you're going to see your laptops. You'll see that there's also your cover sheets and a notebook and a sleeve with information about your laptops if you have any questions about how they work. But the most important thing about this slide is that you know that your laptops are plugged in, or they should have been plugged in overnight before testing, and you'll know if they're ready to test with because they'll either have a green light, which means they're on the current charging cycle right now, or they have a black or no light at all, which means that they have hopefully pretty close to a full battery. They've been off the charging cycle, but they should be okay to go. If they have an orange light, that means that they are not charging properly and there's an issue. We have not seen this happen to anybody yet, but if that's the case, just make a note for Mrs. Gentili and set it aside. Students should have their own assigned laptops, and they should be using the same one each testing day. So if they need to swap or use an alternate, then just make a note of that on your seating chart, or just like a post-it note and email Mrs. Gentili. Just let her know if you have to make a swap. Another important thing to note also is that when students come get their assigned laptop, they carry it back to their desk very carefully with 2 hands. Alright, so this is a typical FSA setup. You'll see the office walls, the cover sheets. Important to know that the computer mouse and headphones need to be plugged in before the computer is powered on. I might repeat myself a couple times in this video, so sorry in advance for that, but I think some of the slides might kind of go over a couple things, so more than once, but that's okay. Here we go. During any breaks, I'll probably say this like 3 times. During any breaks, we're asking that you do not shut the screen or press pause or any other buttons, or the students don't do this, because it could put the computer into sleep mode or potentially cause it to freeze up. So if they need to take a bathroom break or tissue break, or something like that, then they can just cover it up with a piece of paper. Alright, so the computer mouse needs to be plugged in, the headphones need to be plugged in, and then you can power the computer on. You will see a series of images pop up as the computer is loading. You'll see the Lenovo logo, then you'll see a Windows icon and a loading circle with dots, and it says something about it's loading. So Once the computers have loaded for all students, the next thing, they should all have the same screen. It might be a mountain, it might be a beach scene, it could be this really cool cave scene at the beach. Everybody needs to be on this screen and they need to wait. So please instruct them as soon as they get to the screen. They might be eager to jump ahead, but just wait one at a time or one step at a time. They'll press the space bar. When they press the space bar, it'll go onto this blue log on banner screen that lets everybody know that they're connected to Brevard School's server, and they can press OK. When they press OK, this is super important. They're going to see a screen that says Other User. They are not to type in their own username. Not at all. They're not going to type 0301 student. They're not going to type in their user number. When everybody gets to this screen, it's important that they stop, put their hands in their lap, sit tight, wait patiently, because you as the teacher is going to call Mrs. Gentili, and she's going to remotely get all of the computers onto the same login. So she's going to go ahead and ask that everybody sit tight. They'll watch their computer screens change before their eyes. It'll be magical, and we'll all be able to take the test. Alright, so just a quick review. The power button is on the right side of the laptop. You'll be looking for power lights to turn on. There's the green one on the back of the laptop. There are also two tiny red ones in the dotted I on the word ThinkPad. One's on the front of the laptop and one is on near the keyboard of the laptop. Slide 3, they're going to see a beach scene. Great. Press the space bar. Slide 4, they're going to press OK. And then 5, when they get to the desktop, it says Other User, don't type anything in. Teacher, please call Miss Gentili, and she will do it for all students at the same time. Alright, here's why we call Mrs. Gentili. She's going to go ahead and make sure that the computers are turned on and connected. The entire class is going to be logged in simultaneously. Their screen's going to change for them. They should not type in their information. They can't take the FSA test unless they go through this account, because she has created a series of login information and icons for them to click on so that everything will work out just fine. So please make sure nobody's logged into their own account. Alright, so they're going to go ahead and, before any FSA testing at all, just make sure that their battery power is good to go. In the bottom right hand corner of their new screen that Miss Gentili's put up there for them, they're going to see a battery icon. They can hover it or click it and it'll tell you how much time is remaining. They need to confirm with you that they have over 2 hours remaining. All these laptops should be good to go, but if for some reason a student has a laptop with no charge, then just go ahead and swap it out and just make a note of it on your seating chart or somewhere safe for Mrs. Gentili so she knows. The next thing, as the teacher, you're going to make sure that the wireless access point on the ceiling is turned on and the light is blue. If it is flashing orange or any other color, that means that you need to call Mrs. Gentili so she can come reset it for you or give you the instructions on how to do so. Most classrooms have their own wireless access point, but some teachers are sharing one, so just double check in the morning with the other teacher if you are sharing a wireless access point. Alright, these are some quick icons. If you see this cute little bar or dot with 3 bars, that means you're good to go. If you see that with a little caution symbol, that means, oh no, try to right click it and connect to the Brevard School server. Or if you have one of these icons at the bottom, it means that your computer is having some issues connecting or finding the network and it might need to be rebooted. I'm going to go ahead real quick on the next page and show you what that looks like if the computer needs to be rebooted. But for the most part, we've tested this with a couple computers. We have not encountered this issue, but here's what to do just in case. If it's rebooting, or if you need to reboot, students will go to the Windows icon in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, kind of by the Type Here to Search button. They'll click on that, and then they'll click the power icon, which is a circle with a slash through the top, and then they'll select Restart. That should reboot their computer and hopefully help their wireless adapter reset. If the screen is frozen, then on the right hand side over here, they're going to have to press Shift and the power button at the same side to reset their computer, and hopefully that will restart their wireless adapter. Alright, so like I said, this video does not go into FSA testing procedures, but students will see the FSA secure icon. It is blue and yellow with a little road. It's the FSA logo, and then they'll see this FSA testing login screen. You guys have already done the practice test, so I'm not going to go into all that kind of stuff, but you'll have your session ID and their username and all that stuff on a card. They should type all that in. Then when they're taking their test, they're just going to go through it like you guys have practiced, whether it's reading or math. Remember this though, if students need to take a quick bathroom break or a tissue break or stretch break or something like that, they do not press the orange pause symbol at the top. They just use a cover sheet for the breaks. If there is an emergency though and a student needs to leave the room, please cover up their computer screens and call Mrs. Marinas for further instructions. She may ask you to stop the test, but that seems like a super huge emergency to me, so go ahead and give her a call just to confirm. At no point ever during the test should you shut the screen, or should a student shut the screen, because that will cause their computer to go into sleep mode. Oops. Okay. Alright, when students have completed their test, alright, so at the end of the test they're going to see a screen similar to this. Hopefully you've already talked with your students about how if there's a caution symbol they need to go back and check the unanswered question. We do ask that when students get to this screen, no matter what, if they finish 20 minutes early, they do not click End Test until you've instructed them to do so. In fact, we encourage them, of course, to go back and check their work. The test is going to click that End Test button at the very same time when your time is up. So when the session's over, all the students are done testing, the teacher, that's you, you're going to call Miss Gentili. The students are going to sit quietly. Then Mrs. Gentili is going to simultaneously shut down all of the computers so the kids can sit with their hands in their lap, sit tight, watch it happen. When all the lights are off on the computers, that is when they can close the laptop lid. We are waiting, I just want to emphasize that. Sometimes it takes a couple moments for the computer to shut down, so they don't need to shut their screens early. They have to make sure that all those lights, the two dotted I's that should be red, and then the green light at the back of the computer, all those should be off, then they can close it. Then they're very carefully going to carry the computers back to the cart with both hands. Then you guys can wrap up your materials. You can collect those however you see fit. We recommend that the students very carefully and gently wrap up the headphones and very carefully and gently wrap up the computer mice, and that you store those back in the same boxes. That way they are ready to use the next day. Quick reminders on important things to know. Students are never going to log in with their own login information. They're going to wait for Ms. Gentili to log in. Anytime during the test, if they need to stop and take a break for something, they do not press the pause button. This could freeze up their computer, and then it would just be something where you have to relog them in. They have to rejoin the test session. It doesn't count against their time if they don't press pause, so we just recommend putting the screen cover on. And then finally, this one's for teachers. We didn't go over this, but it is against FSA security measures if you have land school running in the background. So if you have any questions on that, I can show you how to make sure it's not running in the background. But we have to make sure that that is not a program we have opened. Alright, in conclusion, the 5th grade tech support team hopes this helped you to prepare for a successful test day. Those team members are Reese, Anthony P., Xander, Paisley, Michael T., and Caitlin. Many of you guys might know those folks. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. Ms. Terapak's here to help. Ms. Gentili's here to help. And I know that there's a handful of other teachers out there just like you that are eager to help. It is a little confusing in the beginning, but once you get started, it's not so bad. The first day is always the hardest. We hope that you guys are going to have a great FSA day. Thanks for watching this 14-minute video on how to get ready. I'm ready to go home. It's a Sunday, and I gotta go. See you later. Have a good night.